Hey everybody, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and today I'm doing a preview of Enormity, the next one from Into the Unknown, who made Aeon Trespass Odyssey. And as always, no disclaimer for crowdfunding coverage. We don't accept any compensation. We just want to help you make an informed decision. And if you like the content on the One Stop Co-op Shop, consider supporting us through Patreon. You get early access to our videos and exclusive videos every month you can't see anywhere else. You can also listen to our podcast for reviews and design discussions, or join the conversation and say hi on our Discord. So I'm doing something very specific for this preview, and I'm guessing it's going to be different than the other previews for the game, or at least many of them. So Enormity is sort of a horror-ish exploration of this derelict spaceship. Think Aliens meet Space Hulk. And the idea is that you'll be traveling from location to location with these map books. So like when you get to the edge of one location, you'll connect to another map book. But then when you leave that location, you'll connect to another map book. So it's supposed to have sort of like exploration and roguelike elements. You're leveling up your characters, crafting new gear and stuff, discovering new aspects of the mystery of what happened to the spaceship. And in the demo they sent us, the first tutorial mission is pretty much telegraphed. You're flipping over these discovery cards and having like very specific narrative events and things. And then that takes you into your first boss fight, and it's actually pretty similar. If you've seen Aeon Trespass Odyssey, they kept some of the mechanics from that one in here, or at least somewhat modified. But then the very last part of the demo, so the last thing I can play, and is the only part I haven't played, is a more regular little dungeon crawl exploration excursion. And as far as I can tell, this is what you'll be spending the majority of the game doing. You're running around, you're trying to pick up these discoveries and get resources to craft more things. And once you get enough stuff, you can extract into a new part of the ship, lick your wounds, level up, craft some stuff, and then do it all over again. So I might be wrong, but from the materials they've sent me, it seems like these sort of extraction, more randomized sort of roguelite-ish exploration missions are the majority of the game, not the scripted stuff that's in the beginning of the demo or the big boss battles. So even though this is a little bit later in the demo, and if you're watching this video first, you're going to see some stuff that wouldn't be unlocked right at the beginning of the demo, I think this is going to be a more honest picture of what the game is usually going to be like, whereas, again, that more scripted stuff seems like it's going to be kind of the outlier in the gameplay. So, if you don't want to watch this video right now, you want to go and see the original beginning of the demo from somebody else and then come back later, more power to you, it's up to you. But I'm going to show you a slightly more advanced playthrough with my characters more leveled up, and I'm very curious myself. I want to see how this whole kind of like roguelite exploration element works. So let me talk through some elements and kind of the basics of gameplay. So you always have 4 characters. Now, there is no way in the demo they sent to differentiate which one is which, because you have like faces and stuff. So right now I have this guy who kind of has a tool as my engineer. I've got this person who's a lady with a pistol as my like sort of a commanding officer. This dude with a big gun is my security officer. And this lady with a data pad is my scientist. I'm not sure if that was the exact intent, but I think those are the characters you're supposed to be controlling here. And you'll see the board is made up in these squares. You can move through them. There are these doors. You cannot go through those. You have to interact with things like this data pad here to try to open them. We have some fungal blooms, not to spoil too much of the previous demo, but basically there were all these solar flares going on in this area. Now we've sort of gotten rid of the source of those. So instead, this weird stuff is growing. And instead of facing aliens, we're now facing these automas who are supposed to be like nice little robot custodians of a ship, but they've been infested by this fungus. Don't know much more than that because, again, this is a mystery that you're trying to unravel. But yes, we're coming out of this little access hatch. The way we're going to escape is to the west. So when we move west here, I'll actually put another map book here, but we start out with just this. There's also these things called engrams, these little hexagonal or octagonal pieces here. If you pick those up, they can give you a little minor bonus during play, but then also you get a certain kind of resource, and even though the demo doesn't have crafting, they just kind of gave me items automatically after each step of the way. Those are what are going to give you your crafting resources. And there's also item caches, these little things here you can loot for new item cards, which come from a specific loot deck for the location you are in. So like as you get deeper into the ship, I'm assuming you'll get cooler stuff. And then the big thing are the blips. Again, this is kind of Space Hulk-ish, kind of Nemesis-ish. There's a lot of games you could make comparisons to. And these blips, I guess this one should actually be here. These blips, interestingly, this is how the game kind of handles alien movement, start out on intersections between spaces, okay? So they're on the corners of spaces, and that's how they move and how they kind of approach us. Although at first they're not really approaching us. If we take certain actions, we'll make noise and they'll move towards us. But otherwise, they're going in the direction of their arrow. And even if like they're in your line of sight, like even if this guy's, I don't know, right here, they don't really do anything. It's only when they are directly adjacent to someone that they're going to pop out onto a square and be an actual unit trying to kill you. And you generally want to keep that from happening as long as possible, because then fighting them, they can be pretty tough, but also you'll make more noise and even more blips will show up. So you have this little extraction token here. Every time you get a discovery, which is going to happen as the rounds advance, we're going to start on the 9, and each round we're going to move this forward one. Anything we reach is going to get resolved. So we'll get some free discoveries as we go over here. And we'll also get discoveries as we get to them on the board. And getting these discovery tokens is basically your objective in these missions, because this advances once each time you pick one up, and you cannot leave the mission. This doesn't actually allow you to extract until it has advanced all the way to the 0 space there. And as this advances, things will get tougher and tougher. The enemy's stats will increase. We'll start spawning more blips automatically every round. And there are extra blips here that'll also spawn when we reach those specific rounds, so time is ticking. And we have our 4 team members. Now, these are more leveled up. So again, if you want to see like the most basic version that they started out with, you can go and watch another video. But you have characters from different divisions. They have these stats that are used in skill tests. That's how many white dice you roll. They have a special ability that generally adds tokens to this little shared thing. You're going to see if you've watched Aeon Trespass Odyssey, it'll be very similar. They've got abilities they can use these special tokens for. And then they've got these tracks and their adrenaline. And what's going to happen is pretty much every round, if they take an adrenaline-causing action, which, again, you're going to take one pretty much every round, this thing will advance, and it'll make them better in combat eventually when it gets high enough. And every token that is behind it, when you take an adrenaline-causing action, is going to get placed on this little shared board for the next character. So as the mission goes on, we're kind of boosting each other more and more and getting stronger and stronger. Although if your adrenaline goes all the way to 9, then you have a heart attack, but you can decrease it with one of the actions. Each character also has stress, which is mainly used for rerolls and to pay for costs. You can reduce this with one of the actions. And then you've got your general health here. If this reaches your stress, you have like kind of a breakdown. And if this goes all the way to 0, then the character also dies. Although, as far as I understand it, again, it's just a demo, so who knows? But they say that death is not permanent for characters. Each character can have up to 2 hands worth of items. See, we see the little dots here. So these are items that I have unlocked. They're supposed to kind of model the fact that after a few missions, I would have crafted some stuff. So Isaac Bohm, my engineer, has a flechette pistol and a machete, and he's got some extra armor. These are like little modifications that can go on your suit. This icon right here, that shows you can have 2 of them. At first, we all started with these standard EVA suits, which you'll see can only hold one of the things. But now all of our characters have a more upgraded suit, which is going to change your track to give stronger tokens. It also gives you different action cards. This is super important. I'll show you that in a second. And then other things like how much space you have in your backpack. Bonuses to your stats. So Isaac, because he has this, is +1, and I think that's intelligence. And then you also have a light on your suit. In this case, it has 2 range and rolls a white die to try to reveal those blips so that you can shoot at them if they get too close. But yeah, let's talk about action cards, and then I'll just kind of jump in and not explain too much more until we're actually playing. So this is one of the core mechanics of the game. So each character has these 3 action cards that are double-sided, and it's actually 2 cards put back to back, and 1 card comes from your class, and 1 card comes from your suit. So because they have the first contact suit, they've got tactical reload walk, tactical measures, tactical walk. Whereas at the beginning, when they were in the standard EVA suit, they had different actions. So one side of their actions changed because they equipped a new suit. Now, right now, the other side of their actions are identical because their class hasn't advanced at all, but it looks like in the full game, you'll have like a whole skill tree and you can probably get more different actions because currently all of the classes have the exact same basic actions. So not too much differentiation there yet. But basically how the turn runs, and I'll stop talking and show it to you in a second, is that each character gets to resolve as many of these as they want, and you can choose which side you want to do. So I can do either cautious sneaking or a tactical reload walk. I can do either anxious sneaking or a tactical walk, and then I can do either stressful brainstorm or tactical measures. So you can play your cards. Some of them are going to make you move faster or slower. Generally, these 2 are focused on movement or reloading. This one's focused on like your main actions or attacking. So really, if you boil it down, you can move a bit and do an action every turn. It's just the cards kind of change up how that all works and functions and what costs you have to pay to do so. All right, but enough talk. Let's actually jump in and show you how it works, and I'm going to discover how this whole extraction kind of thing goes. And we do have some narrative bits in here. The ship is alive. You return to the solar ring to find it oddly changed, where light seared stains into the deck, shade and humidity breed strange growths, like the fungi of old Earth. You hear a muffled announcement from the Shepherd's deck-wide communication system. Contamination detected. Isolation procedures in progress. Automated maintenance units dispatched for cleanup. Oh, Thomas, thank the maker. Some help. Finally. No, they're going to kill you. So the first step of each round is the countdown phase, where this would move down. We'd resolve anything that is on the space we reached. You skip that in the first round. So we are going to get 3 full rounds in white, where things are a little bit easier, before we get to red and black. Then we get to the spacer phase. We're going to pick one spacer at a time, and again, resolve up to 3 action cards. But the actions will often cause the blips to try to converge on our location and that kind of stuff. By the way, I didn't mention this, but these little red spots are where new blips will spawn, where these blips start out. This is a blip spawn point cluster, which means at the beginning of the game, you only start with 1 on either space, but new blips can spawn from either one. So first thing I want to do is, I guess I want to try to maybe open some of these doors, because you can't go through those. I don't want to explore west yet, because when you put the new map book out, it gets more blips out, and they all are moving to your noise. So I found already in my limited play that you want to kind of stay on one map as long as possible. Okay, so I'm going to try to move up here with Aubrey Van Visser, my science division officer. So her ability is scientific analysis. If either the incoming or active pool is empty, I can gain 1 stress to place any 2 spacer tokens there. Spacer tokens are these things we're going to get, again, as our adrenaline increases in these 3 types, and they give you different bonuses. The little star-shaped one lets you change a failure into a success, basically. These ones trigger special abilities. They're a cost for special abilities, and these ones give you rerolls, the ones with a little circle. They all have other names, but I forget what they are right now. All right, let's look at her action options. She has the first contact suit, same as the engineer. Both my combat people have a moth suit. That's partially maybe from a boss that we might have fought. So she's got cautious sneaking to move 1 space, and then if not preceded or followed by another move, she can spend one of those and take a stress to do a fast reload her gun with 1 bullet. Or she can do a tactical reload walk, move 2 spaces, and you can move diagonally, which is new with this suit. Normally you can only move orthogonally, or do a fast reload, but you do make noise if you do the movement one, so if you try to go faster than 1 space. This one is move 2 spaces, you may move diagonally, make some noise, or move 2 spaces, gain a stress, or use that to reduce your stress by 1. And then finally, the red is always your main action. So I don't want to make noise quite yet if I don't have to. So let's do move 2 spaces and gain a stress. So stress, boop, goes right there, and she can move 2. And she's trying to get to this discovery token, but also this terminal, because she has a special way to interact with that. So she'll go right on there. Now, whenever you end a move on a discovery, you're going to do different things. Now, in the scripted original demo, they would have specific numbers and you would read specific cards. But how it works here is you're flipping it over and just looking at the color. And that's going to correspond to either the area of the ship you're in or the type of enemies you're fighting. So you're going to have like different sort of choose your own adventure-ish little narrative passages. So here, I guess that's brown. And actually, I guess it was yellow. So this goes to the first Parsec discoveries page. We've also got one for being in the solar ring and battery section of the ship, and one for the enemy we're facing. So all this stuff will like change. And again, if you've played Aeon Trespass Odyssey, this might look kind of familiar to their like sort of encounter tables. How it's supposed to work here is that there's supposed to be 20 entries, I think, per section. And you're rolling a 1d10 die and then adding 1 for every discovery you've already found. So you'll slowly kind of unlock deeper and deeper things as you go in. And then a lot of them will have like chains and stuff. Let's see, I don't see any that have chains. Let me show you another one. Oh, here you go. So if I do like sealed orders this time, and then if like later I come back here or I stay here and take another discovery and roll the same entry again, then something different will happen based on what happened here. So you kind of get like little chaining narratives. Now in the demo, they don't have a full 20. So what they said is just pretend you always roll a 1. So I'm going to do it's gone first. And then if I went again, since I'd already discovered a 1 discovery, doesn't matter what color it is, I would go to Rumblings in the Dark. So let's go ahead and see what it's gone says. And I would like mark this off so I would never get this one again. And when it's chained, it goes to static, although I'm not going to see that on this run because I'll go to the 2 if I take it again. You've been trying to reach the Coventry for several hours now. At first you thought the solar radiation was interfering with the signal, but the moth creature is gone and your ship remains silent. Either it's been destroyed during the jump or was beyond the fold space diameter and was left behind at origin. There's another possibility. No. Why would they keep radio silence? Hide from you. You're their crew. Okay, so I have to make a strength or dexterity test with a 1 target. If I succeed, I remove the farthest blip. Ooh. But if I fail, I move the farthest blip a black die's worth of intersections toward me. Okay. So skill tests, use your skills. And sadly, that's agility and that's strength, and she's 1 in each of them. And her spacesuit gives her neither. So when you do skill tests, you roll the white dice. And these dice are pretty weird, okay? I already talked to them about it. If I'm understanding correctly, because we went back and forth about the rules some, these little things are half a success. And that's also half a success. And these longer lines are a full success. So I need two half successes to equal 1 full success. I don't think that's great graphical design. I'm sure people might suggest that they change that. I certainly think they should. But yes, so that's a full success, also called a power result. And then these little things are called potentials. Those do nothing, but if you have this type of spacer token, you can discard one to turn it into a full success. Okay, so here I just need a power result, which looks like means I have a 2/3 chance. So I roll it, and I got it. So I passed my skill test because I only needed 1. Now, if I had failed, I could, once per die, take a stress to re-roll it. And then again, if I had like spacer tokens and stuff, I could do other cool things. All right, so that was pretty good. So it said I removed the farthest blip, which is pretty dang crazy because usually every time you like even have a blip come and it turns out not to be an enemy, then you just spawn another blip. So just taking a blip away is insane. I guess from her, it's going to be this one, right? So that one's gone. Fantastic. All right, now she's on this terminal, and there are 2 ways to scavenge or interact with things. First of all, you can do the scavenge action, and yes, even terminals you scavenge, but usually you're doing scavenging to pick up loot or to get these engrams. But additionally, each of the 3 spacer tokens goes with a different one of these scavenging things. You can do what's called a quick or fast scavenge action, where it doesn't actually cost you your red card to do it if you discard the matching token. Now here she doesn't have any of those tokens, so she would normally have to scavenge, but the reason I sent her ahead is because she found earlier in the game this hack tool. It says it's got 3 charges, and she can spend a charge to use a terminal or console without suffering any cost. So she's going to go ahead and do that and hack right into it immediately. So this has a number 213, which I think I still read the original entry, even though I'm like playing through the scenario again. Let me see if it makes sense. Yep, you find a working console with access to emergency quarantine procedures. Okay, so I can open doors C1, C2, or both, and B1, B2, or both, or I can vent a room and get rid of any blips or intruders inside. None of them are in the rooms right now, so that wouldn't help. So it's C1, C2, or B1, B2. Okay, so looks like I'm looking at the letters over here, by the way. So it looks like C1, C2 is the only thing that actually does anything at the moment. So let's go ahead and open both of those. Now, it says if you use a search action, they said that's a old holdover from a previous version of the game. So I think it means if you use a scavenge action, which I guess I didn't, right? Because I used my hack tool. So I'm going to assume that I don't have to make any noise with that action. All right, cool. So we got access to a discovery over there, 1 over there. These are fungal blooms. I forget what it said they do. They do something if you stand on them and don't really do much of anything otherwise. So I'm just not going to stand on them. Although the automa can leave them and like add more, so it might become more of a problem. All right, so next I'm going to go ahead and move 2 spaces. I may move diagonally, make a noise, or I could just move 1 space and not make noise. I mean, honestly, noise isn't like the worst thing in the world when you're still in the white round. There's only 2 blips. Yeah, I think it'll be fine. Okay, so I'm going to move 2 spaces, and then I'll show you how noise works. So I'll go 1, 2, and send her and some of the other people to start getting that stuff. Unfortunately, we can't go through that door. I think we have to open up the other room. So yeah, once we get like these things, I guess we just kind of have to bring more blips into play. So but we're making noise, and you'll see this little like kind of squiggle tentacle icon here. That means you're making noise based on the number of blips on the board. And you look at the current stats of your enemy, the automas. So this shows their movement range. So they're 3 in red, and then 4. This is based on how far that round tracker has progressed. 4, 5, 6 is the difficulty to damage them, although 1 wound will kill them for most basic enemies. So, yep. And then this is, oh, wow. These guys are way easier in terms of noise than the other enemies were. They're rolling a white for both the white and the red spaces, which is the easiest die. So yeah, I roll 1 die for each blip that is in play, in this case 2, And this time, instead of looking for the successes or the half successes, I look for the failures, the potentials. And that's what's going to move guys. And how it works is I have to assign one to each of them. Let's assign it to that guy and that one. So that one got no potentials, nothing happens. This one got a potential, which means he has to move one towards the person who made the noise. But when they're not in a direct line with me, I can pick which way they go, but then I have to alternate. So like, let's say they were moving 3, I'd be like 1, 2, 3, that kind of thing, until they eventually get on a direct line with one of the intersections on my space. So I'm going to send them that way because the arrow shows where they're going to be going on their own at the end of the round anyway. So I don't want to help them kind of get in my way more. Okay, and finally, I can either scout. Scouting means when a blip is near you, you use your lamp, which has 2 or 3 range for my guys, depending on their suit. And you try to roll and get one of those successes, and if you do, then you reveal the blip, and if it's an actual enemy, you get a free attack follow-up. Scavenging I already talked about. Fully reload your gun. Rationalize is how you get rid of your stress. I'm going to do that one in a second. Catch your breath is a bit of a weird one. So normally you take 3 actions on a turn, but you can exert, which means that in addition to the 3 actions, you can flip over one of the cards you use and do the opposite action on another side. But then once you have these, it limits you to only using 2 actions a turn. It kind of like uses up one of your spots. So when you catch your breath, you get to get rid of the exert, and then you also lower your adrenaline. I was saying your adrenaline goes up whenever you take one of these actions pretty much every round. So catch your breath is one of the only ways to actually get less adrenalized and not make your heart explode. And then rearm is if you want to like switch which things you have equipped. And then the other side is attacking, which clearly I can't do. So yeah, I'm going to rationalize. So what happens whenever you do an adrenaline action? You raise up your adrenaline by 1, and then I look at any tokens that are behind, and yes, I've got that one there, the one that can turn failures into successes. I put it in the incoming because I can't use it. At the end of the turn, it's going to be over here in the active, and that means whichever spacer is activated next will have it to use. And then whenever you rationalize, you lower your stress by 2. So yay! Oh, and I guess I forgot to use scientific analysis, but we're doing fine right now. We don't need that many tokens. All right, so what I want to do, I probably, if I send like one person to help the scientist, they can probably get all this stuff on their own, while the other 2, unfortunately, bring the hornet's nest down and get more blips on the board. Yeah, I think that might be a good idea. So who should I send with her? Should I send the engineer, who's already over on that side, but then neither of them is like the best fighter because these are both my more combat-y people? They'll probably be okay. So let's go ahead and do the engineer first, and then I'll move these dudes over and get the other map in play. So I do move this over. Isaac's got a free success, and for him, that's mainly going to mean that he can change one of the potentials that would move a blip into a nothing so that they don't actually advance towards us. He's got the same suit as her with the diagonal movement cards. He can take a stress if there's an empty spot of the pool to place 2 reroll tokens in there for the next character. Again, I don't know if that's really necessary right now. He's got some armor. I said he's got a sword, and he's got this healing item. Aubrey can heal automatically with her power, so I thought having a little split of healing was a good idea. By the way, I will note that our old suits were apparently lighter because we had a card that would let us move 3 times. We don't have that anymore, but we do have the diagonal movement. So I guess I'll have him like run toward that far side token. Oh, and speaking of discoveries and tokens, let's definitely move that down. It started on 8, remember, because we need to get to extracting. We did find that 1 token already. So yeah, I guess he can be like 1, 2 with diagonal, 1, 2, and almost be to it. Best we can do for now. So where's the one that gives me stress? Yeah, this one's fine. So I'll do 2 spaces and gain a stress, bloop, bloop. And then he'll do 2 spaces that can go diagonally, bloop, bloop, and make some noise. Or hopefully not make some noise. Both are successes. Well, I'm going to use the token to make the one assigned to that guy not actually... Oh, sorry, this one, because he's way closer. This one can just move there again. Who cares? And then he's also going to rationalize his stress back down. So that goes up, stress goes down. And, he's also given the same little token there. Yeah, here, I was trying to remember what the heck they called him. Okay, so discipline lets you turn a failure into success. Confidence lets you reroll. Expertise lets you pay for abilities. Cool. All right, so unfortunately, let's see what awaits us and go to the other side of stuff. I'll have I guess her. She's actually like closer without having to walk through that stuff. And what does it do? If you end your movement on a fungal colony space, test dexterity. If you fail, insidious infection, which these guys also inflict on you. Oh, and by the way, you can use consoles to hack the automa once they are spawned. Okay. So to compare their cards, they've got Drift, which lets you move 2 spaces with Bypass, and Drift Reload, which lets you move 1 space into a fast reload but make noise, or move 2 spaces with a stress cost with Bypass. I just looked, and I don't see any explanation of what Bypass means in the keyword list, so I bet it's really cool. But for now, we're just going to ignore it. Yeah, and then their side of the attack action lets them make an attack with a free change of a failure to a success. So a little bit better there. Let's just go ahead and do the basic 2 spaces gain a stress for her. And we're going to reveal our next room and set it up. All right, so here we go. And again, the idea is that like each room will connect to more rooms, and you're kind of like, it's almost Sleeping Gods-ish or Seventh Continent-ish in a way, in that there is like a giant map and you're only seeing little pieces of it at a time. All right, so we got these are the B doors that the terminal was connected to. There's a double door, by the way. You just take some doors and flip them over. Actually, like a super cool effect that a single door becomes a double door when you put them together. And the most important thing, we get a bunch of new discoveries and some more loot and some more engrams, which are randomly drawn from a bag. Right, there we go. Ooh, lots of discoveries. 2 in that room. 1 right in front of her. Heck yeah, but let's get some blips. So I think we do another one here. And they said like they face towards the most spacers, which I guess would make it like that and that. Yay, so now we have 5 instead of 2. You can see why that's such a great idea to open up the doors. Or I guess not really open up the door here, just looking down the hallway. And I was going to go faster, but I guess now I'll just move 1 space and still not make any noise. All right, so another discovery time, and let's see, this time it's, a red, so that is related to the Automa. Might have somebody spawn in here. So we're going to pretend we rolled a 1, but since we had a previous discovery, we go to the 2, Crawler. It wriggles across the corridor's floor, a fat slug leaving a wet trail. It's a maintenance Automa, or what's left of it, covered in that strange fungus. Suddenly it looks up at you, its big red eye filled with, what, pain? Pleading? You feel you're losing your mind. Okay, so I can choose to either put the Automa out of its misery, it's suffered enough. I would gain 1 adrenaline immediately, which means I'm leveling up like a little bit faster in that track, and mark it as Discovery A, that must be the chain. Or it's a machine, study it, and maybe you'll find a way to stop this infection. Place 2 expertise tokens into any pool, gain 1 research point, only in the full game. Well, the thing is I'm never going to resolve this in the current time, so let's just get the 1 adrenaline, I guess. All right, and we got to go 6 more. And yeah, not a ton for her to do, except also rationalize. So that's going to get down to 0. Her adrenaline's going up to 2, which means, whoa, she's going to leave 3 of those success-changing tokens for the next guy. That'll be pretty good if he's going to make some noise. Oh, sorry, wait. That was the one from before, but it's going away because she didn't use it. Now it's 3, and it's coming down before his turn. This will be the last character turn before we get to the enemies. And yeah, I think even though he'll have to use an action to do it, he probably wants to go here and open up these doors for us to reach more of the discoveries, right? You know what? He's got like 50,000 tokens. So let's go to move 2 and get a noise instead of gaining a stress. Why not? Although, crud, I forgot that I was doing 5 dice. Never mind. He's going to take a stress. Okay, and then he's going to have to scavenge and get an adrenaline because he does not have that hack pad thing. And he's leaving us a single token for the enemy turn, then whoever goes first on the next round. And yeah, he's going to open, bloop, both bees. Now, normally those stay open once opened, but my division commander, the person who went previously, she has this thing that you can use once per mission to weld a door shut. So if like a whole bunch of enemies are coming after us from a certain room, we could do that. Or I guess we could also use that venting thing that's on the terminal, right? Now, remember the terminal entry did say you have to use noise if you did a regular interact. So I'm rolling 1 per blip, which is 5. Where's my rolling thing? Going to ruin the entire board with that. We got 3. Hey, you know what? Let's use all 3 of those to make it be nothing. Although now with no tokens, I don't really want to make noise. I'm just going to move the single space. Also, I think these people can really take their time. They have been sent into like the belly of the beast. They're going to have to rush very far back, and we aren't as fast as we used to be, so I don't know how I feel about all of that. How many tokens do I need? 6? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 1 over here. We're going to get 1 automatically from the time track. So maybe I don't send her in that room. Maybe I don't even have him get that. Because, yeah, look, we'll automatically get a discovery next round, and we'll automatically get a discovery in 2 more rounds after that. I mean, he's already right there. Might as well get it, right? And we should, theoretically, if we were playing the campaign, we should be getting loot and certainly the engrams that give you resources to build stuff, too. I don't know. But now we get to the intruder phase, which is not going to be super interesting in this basic situation where it's just blips. But then, like, once people are actually spawned, they choose a target, and then based on where the target is, they do different actions. But how this works is kind of fun. A little red scanner here. Although, again, this makes you think of Nemesis. So you have a little scan card. Oh, sorry. This card comes based on the current round. So right now we're in white rounds. So I am going to take this, flip it over, and I'm going to slot it in. And, that's right. I need to keep track of who made noise last. Now, they both did... Oh, no, that's right. The combat guy made noise when he interacted with the terminal. So he gets this little last to make noise token, which interacts with some of the intruder's actions and stuff. In this case, he is the center point for this card. Because what we do is, you can kind of see in here, although not super well, we've got one of these icons in each of the quadrants of this little radar display. Sometimes there are more than one icon there. And using him as the dividing point, I look at where every intruder is, and I move them that many spaces. So in this case, it's all one. So this dude goes down one, and that goes down one. I mean, they're all doing one right now. And again, these are just going in the arrows. Now, during the white rounds, they will not change this facing. They'll always be kind of predictable in where they're going. But when you're in the red and black rounds and you make noise, they will turn towards the noise. So, like, it's a little bit harder to actually evade them. Oh, and if you didn't figure this out on your own, the kind of theme here is that, like, they're in the vents underneath or above. You know, again, think aliens. So they aren't, like, right in your face, and they don't really know you're there a lot of the time. And some of these will just be nothing, by the way. Like, we'll flip them and it'll be empty. And then you'll spawn a new blip, so you never, like, have a blip go away unless an actual enemy spawns. But yeah, okay, no, not too bad. So we are going to round 8, and nothing else happens, but in these rounds, this little icon means that you will spawn another blip. What we are going to do, it's another one just for the basic descent. And we've done 2, so we go to 3. Access denied. The message flashes red. This can't be right. You've come through here. You had the NASF override. How can it be not working if... No, somebody or something locked you out. To keep you here? Why? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't... The corridor carries an echo of a wet smack. Close the closest open door. Place the door standing on it to reflect it. Spawn a blip on the closest spawn point. Gain +1 experience point. Great. Now I think you still use the noise-making person during the round change. So let's see. That door is 4 away. 1, 2, 3. I mean, it's got to be that one, right? Yeah, so, crud. Well, we'll just, I guess, use the... Yeah, I can have the scientist use it again if she moves back this way. And then I spawn a blip on the closest spawn point, which is going to be up here. Great. There goes my free blip. Nothing good. Okay, thanks for nothing. But hey, at least I can tell that Wayland Yutani is trying to betray me here. All right, so do I want to go first this time? Yes, I think I'm just going to have scientists move back. Ignore that room. I'm going to have the engineer grab the one discovery. Well, let's have him go first yet in case he needs help. So I want to keep the 2 move that doesn't make noise. Yeah, that one. Okay, so I'm going to use this one that just moves 1 space. And let's see what gnarliness we are in for. Blue. Oh, this is the one that is keyed to this area, the solar ring. So it's +3 eggs. I guess we're doing the 4. We're just going to be reading all 6s at the end since we need a bunch of tokens. You manage to get the emergency console working, then run diagnostics on the solar ring, or what's left of it. You're surprised when the system returns a no malfunction code. How? A third of the ring got blown apart. You modify your query. Section 1A to 2C were taken offline for maintenance at error. The screen sputters before shutting down, but you already know it wasn't a malfunction. It was sabotage. Oh my gosh, make a black noise roll and apply it to the closest blip. Gain 1 red orchestra clue if you have 4 plus red orchestra. Okay, yeah, none of that applies. Oh my gosh, that person's really close. Thank God. Oh, that's actually nothing. Whoa, look at that result. Look at that result. The least I could have gotten besides that was 1, and they could have moved towards me 3 times. I mean, I had 1 token to prevent a little bit of that. And yeah, if they move and get next to you, then they attack you. So, or they like appear, like he would have to actually spawn next to me. So that was fantastic. I mean, none of that was fantastic, but at least I didn't get killed. And where should this be? It was on 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we need 4 more. Oh, yeah, it's not even that bad. Okay, so, I mean, we can really rush this if we want to, which is good, because, again, if you're going to be doing, like, a lot of these kind of missions, it's good that, like, when you don't want to spend a lot of time somewhere, you can kind of fast play it if you don't want to collect as much stuff. And then pretty basic end of his turn, I'm going to move to getting stress, and then relax, rationalize away my stress. So I'm not as far away from the blips as I would like to be, but it's okay. And that, by the way, means that he's at 0 stress, and he's doing 2 successes and 1 reroll into the pool. Okay, now that I know that he won't straight up die, let's have the scientist do her thing. So I'm going to remove 2, gaining a stress, and use her second to last hack tool to do this again. And we'll just open that up. And that's it, right? Because she didn't do a regular action to get noise. And then I guess I'll move her 2 spaces and do some noise. It should be okay. Maybe. Oh, God, those guys are going to come. Oh, yeah, they're going to come right down towards her. Well, she can reroll 1 for free and change 2 successes to failure. I think it'll be okay. So, yeah, we have 6 white dice, by the way. If we ran out, we'd have to start using... There's 7 white dice total. If we ran out, like if we had more blips, then we would have to start using red and then black dice, which, as you saw, move them a lot more. Okay, so that was 3. We got a free reroll for 1. Dang it. Okay, so we do have to move a single blip if we use both of our successes. Oh, it's actually like a blip that would be helpful for us to move. I don't really want any of these ones to move. I mean, over there probably won't matter, so sure, I can move 1 down towards her. That's cool. She's again going to rationalize. You do a lot of this when you're not picking stuff up. We will be scavenging in a second, although the tokens can let you scavenge for free, so sometimes you still aren't even doing that. And she's leaving 2 successes. Oh, and finally, one of the resource ones. The resource ones are cool because even if you don't use them in your turn, you can always put them on. You get to pick 2 of these. I think I have like 6 or 7 unlocked at this point. These are called stratagems, and once you build up enough tokens, they flip, and you get 1 or 2 uses a different thing. So this one gives me a free move 3 action for somebody, making some noise if we need to like just get the heck out of dodge. And this one gives me a free attack action. So, if I don't use this token next turn, I can just plop it here and start building up towards one of those. Oh, and I'm forgetting the noise thing again. Yeah, so she's made noise. All right, again, I think I want to see what happens with this first, and then I can have her try to go get the loot, I guess. Maybe that engram, too. And then, well, we don't need that many discoveries, right? So I'll have her move 2 for 1 stress. Seems to make sense to do that a lot. See what happens. This time it is another blue for the solar ring. In the absence of light, the shepherd did not jump, yet the elusive sun that filled the solar ring with blinding light is gone, snuffed out. Was it ever there to begin with? Not when you arrived, but the heat on your skin was real, even through the visor. It was real. You have a hard time navigating the gloom that replaced it. Darkness can chills around you. Thoughts of death and despair assail you. Make a willpower test. Okay. Ooh, she actually has good willpower, too. I remember we're looking for the good stuff. Hey, whoa, didn't have to spend any of my stuff. Awesome. Okay, you push back against it. Gain 2 health or lose 2. I'll lose 2 stress because I just got 1. All right, and then was I going to loot or at least go towards looting? Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just move 1 space instead of making noise, because then I can move 2 spaces to get there anyway. Oh, well, I have literally no red action to do, because I can't reach there to scavenge. Darn it. Well, you know what? We got time. Let's actually move to make some noise. She's got all her successes, and then she can also use like some stress and then rationalize it away, and that'll get her closer to the engram. So we're rolling the much noise. And we got 3. We'll cancel 2 automatically. Let's spend a stress to reroll the last one. Good to go. Because then she's going to rationalize the stress away. Oh, and we don't get anything new. Wait, hold on. Do I have these lined up right? There we go. And I did have this left over. I think since right now we're not fighting much, I'm going to put it on tactical redeployment and give us the free move maybe for my one guy who's way behind. Can I just have security dude left? And actually, this is great. So engrams are one of the things you can pick up with a scavenge action. But if you want to fast scavenge and do like a free scavenge, you can use one of these. So these go with engrams, and then a different thing goes with loot and with terminals. But it's a long story short, you can get that for like a free action. So yeah, let's do 2 move with a stress. Spend this to get this for free. So again, each of these can be used for a temporary bonus. This one lets you put any 2 tokens in the spacer pool to give somebody more options. But the cool thing is you always get the resource on the other side for when you craft, so you're kind of encouraged to use the initial bonus. But yeah, so we got that. And again, then no need to hurry. He'll just do a basic 1 move and get 2 of his stress back because he had 3. And he's leaving behind 3 more of these. We really got a billion of them. And, wait, who caused noise? Oh, she definitely did. He did not, though. Since she's so far south, everyone's going to be north of her. Oh, which is good, because southwest would have moved twice. So just 1 for everybody again. So blips are moving, and these ones are pissing me off. Might have to actually try to scout and kill those ones. But yeah, it's kind of the only danger area. Maybe we just avoid that discovery, or like we could run around them if they keep going this way. All right, so that's the end of round 2, and things are going along swimmingly. All right, coming into the third round, this is our last one in white. Now, the automas don't move any farther or don't respond to noise any better when they're in red. But we will get a new blip every round. That's a problem. And we'll have to use tougher scan cards that'll make them move more often, and they'll actually turn towards us when we make noise. So, yeah, we want to try to fast-track things if we can here. So I think let's maybe start with Mr. Engineer off by himself over there. And I think I actually want to make noise. I have found it to be the case where sometimes noise is helpful. So, for example, if I run over here, and I can choose where the noise dice get assigned. If I send them to these guys and move them away from all my friends here, that would seem to be a lovely thing, right? So yeah, let's go ahead and move 2 spaces. I can go diagonally. I'm going to make some noise. So let's go bloop, bloop. We've still got 6 friends hanging out looking for us. 3. That's fine. I'll move all 3 of these. So yeah, again, I can choose to have them go like that. So yeah, that was pretty much purely helpful, I think. But then I'll do the 2 spaces with a stress because I don't want to potentially move them more. And then I guess I'll rationalize again. Yeah, so some of these turns are not as exciting as others. And who do I want to do now? Maybe the leader? Do I really want to go get that? I'm just thinking, like, movement-wise. For him, it's going to be like 1 round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds maybe to get out. So if she goes here, it's like 2 and 4 back, 1 round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds. It's at least an entire extra round. Maybe she just gets the loot and heads up. So I'll do the non-noise making 1 move. This time she does have to actually use this. Oh no, I guess she do. Wait, hold on. Let me see which token needs the loot. Yeah, I need this one to pick up loot caches for free, and these are what I got. So nope. So she will take an actual regular scavenge action to get this. And what's she get? A motion tracker. So I can spend one of those and exhaust this to move a blip 1 intersection or turn a blip 90 degrees. Ooh. And I forget what the red means. But that's pretty cool, and it has a 5 range. I guess that's how far away the blip can be. So she can have up to 2 of these equipped, but I don't really think I need the welder. They're not even coming for me yet. You can have up to 4 for her suit, 4 things in your backpack. That can be like weapons or the items get equipped to your suit, so that's cool. And she still hasn't given him anything else except 3 of those for the next person. And then I guess she can move 2 and take the stress, right? Why not? Although she's wasting all the lovely tokens other people left for her. All right, now I do need to get Engineer and Scientist in here. Let's maybe have Engineer run onto that first and see what nasty things await us. Oh, and actually, that's the only one I need to get because there's one right by the door that I'll pass by anyway, and I'm going to get that one at the start of the round. So maybe I'd send the Scientist over to get the Engram. That seems smarter. Well, either way, I'll give him a stress to go 2. Let's see what we got. It's another one of the yellows. Dark Course. You've been desperately looking for something, anything, that could help you determine where you are or where you're going. To learn the Shepherd's Course in a dank corner of a poorly lit passage, you find a strange datapad marked with what you assume is a spiral or a horn motif. You gain a random engram. Then if the content level is red or higher, no, immediately perform a blip patrol. And then regardless of patrol, see a special passage. Interesting. You manage to get the datapad working through a jury-rigged interface. When the dim screen flashes with unknown symbols, you feel a pang of fear mixed with excitement. An alien language. As some stellar wanderer visit the shepherd? What wisdom do they impart? A warning, perhaps, or do they offer guidance? You need to know. Below, you will find an encrypted passage. To read it with a text scanner, pay 4 confidence tokens. You can return to this passage at a later time, but only during... Oh, that's cool. All right, well, I don't have 4 confidence tokens whatsoever right now, but I could look at that later. Actually, should he just go and get that? So that'd be another, that'd be this turn, and then 1, 2. Yeah, I feel like I've got time for that. So sure, let's move 2 with noise. Here we go again. Just 1, and I've got 1 billion of these tokens, so let's cancel it. And then I might as well spend another one of those to do the quick pickup. That way you can get rid of his stress, and he's given 3 of those as well. Oh, wait, Scientist didn't go yet. So yeah, do I want to, run over and grab that loot? Because she's got diagonal movement, so I think she can probably do that successfully. That is going to be 2 noise rolls, but she's got 3 of those change of success things, so let's try it. So 1... Actually, the first one I can do just the... Oh, no, I can do, 1, 2, maybe, so I will do that with some noise generation. 3. Well, here, 1's over here. Who cares? That one can raise up 1. And then, sure, this one can come towards this one. And then she'll cancel the last one. Okay, and then she'll do another noisy 2. And 1, she'll cancel it. So now she'll do a scavenge, actually get her adrenaline up. That gives 2 of these now to put towards our 1 card if we want. Nope. I looked wrong. It's only one. And what she's scavenging, Xenamos Carbine, an alien origin gun. Okay, so if we ever see combat, rolls one. Wow, one white and 2 red is really good combat, and a black die for adrenaline is 5 or more. 4 range is good. Noise is it's a burst weapon, so you can shoot up to 2 people, but then you get extra noise for each bullet you used. This is like how well it crits. I forget what all these other things mean, but dang, that's a really powerful weapon. I think she'll equip that and put away what she actually has. So that thing seems insane. All right, that wraps it up. So let's see our last scanner now. And they're centered around her clearly. What do we got? 2 on both the right sides. But they're moving down, so that's fine. Well, kind of fine. He's a little bit close to being in trouble. But if we run away, we should be okay. All right, so now we go down. We're going to resolve a discovery, and then, oh, crud, we're going to spawn. I think it's going to spawn on her. Well, hey, we might actually see combat with that new gun in a second. That's our second to last discovery. Okay, this is weird, right? Because they want me to add 1 for each one I've already done, but this is going to get me the exact same result as before. Well, we'll just say nothing happens. Because realistically, we would have 20 entries, and clearly there would be a lot more, and you would never get all the way to 20 in the course of one mission, probably, until you cross out a lot more. So, yeah, I'm just going to say whatever. But we get a spawn right there. Now, I don't think they actually attack right away. Because that's right. They did say that spawns only pop and actually get revealed if you scout them to attack, if they move onto you, or if they would move when they're already next to you. But you can exist next to them. So I don't think that one comes out. So if we run immediately, we should be okay. And yeah, everyone just needs to run now. So I guess let's have Engineer go first, right? He's in the most danger. So I'm going to have him... I guess just run 4. He'll take a stress the first time and a noise roll the second time. Seems like what everybody's going to do. We do have the max of 7 white dice. Oh, that's a lot. He can cancel 2 of them. Reroll a 3rd. Okay, so that means only 2 blips are going. So let's pick the most innocuous, I guess. That one. Now it's going to turn towards him. And yeah, that one's also going to turn towards him because we're in red now. And then I guess he'll get his stress back. And get some more tokens for the next person. Let's have her go, right? So she'll do a 2 diagonal first and make some noise. Get out of dodge while the getting is good for... She can cancel 2 and reroll 2. See how that goes. Whoops. Now she could spend stress to reroll. Actually, I guess she should because she's about to get... Wow. All right, so it's still going. So 2... Oh, well, this one can come. That's fine. And I guess... Actually, how about this one? Because that's going to be far away in a second. Then she'll do a regular 2 for stress. And then she'll recover 2 of her stress. And she's putting more stuff out. Got that for the next person. And in case you're curious, we have earned 4 out of 8 for tactical redeployment to give us a free 3 move. So, if somebody's way behind, they can get out that way. Oh, crap. Did he block the way for her? Well, I guess she'll do... quiet movement, then do a regular move, and the 2 move with stress, and then reduce all her stress and won't have anything negative happening. And then finally he can go 2 and 2. One of those will surely make noise. And 4. He's got 3. We could do rerolls and stuff, but we'll just have this one move 1. Yeah, we're kind of just rushing out of here. I guess we could grab some more stuff, but I don't know if there's much point. Now, even in red, they still follow their arrows. It's just that their arrows turn to chase you when they get moved by noise, which we managed to not do very much here. Although in black rounds, they do automatically hone in on you. All right, so what we got for red, we're focusing on Marine guy who went last. All right, looks like 1 for everybody except Southeast, which is, just this one. Everybody else is... forget what happens. We'll just have them go that way. There is some rule for what happens when they intersect with each other, but I don't want to look it up right now. All right, now we are going to have to spawn 2 blips, 1 for the turn, 1 for this. And they're going to be closest to him, which, let's see. Looks like it's equidistant, so I'll do that one, and then one of these. Let's do like that. And yeah, realistically, I think I could just fast forward the rest of this. And here, I'll show you a combat and kind of how scouting works so you can actually see that in action. But yeah, so what would happen is we would go do this discovery. That would move this down, which means extraction is available. And then one of us would have to start the extraction, and then basically you have to survive one turn for each player, and then you can start actually moving off. Now, once the extraction starts, if I remember correctly, I think all the blips actually do converge on there. So it's possible we might be forced into a combat or two, but I don't want to like kind of run through a whole bunch of little moving turns. But here, let's show you what, let's use this, this new crazy thing. Let me look up. So yeah, these have a ton of keywords. I think like Aeon Trespass Odyssey, they'll probably be something you memorize as you play more, but let me look them up real quick. All right. So yeah, this is pretty dang good. So confidence and discipline means that you leave, I forget which token is which, but you leave that many of those tokens for the next person. So they're kind of like extra things on top of your track. Advanced one means you can move one before you attack with this. Heavy means that you have to take a full reload action. So it has 2 bullets, so you can shoot it twice, or one burst of 2, hitting 2 people at once. And then you'll have some actions on the move card that are a fast reload, which just reloads a single bullet, or you can do a full reload for your action. So because this is heavy, it can only be fully reloaded. And devastating deals with crit quadrants, which I haven't even gotten to. So let's pretend that she just decided she didn't want to science anymore, and she's going to scout this guy. So scouting, we look. She has 2 range on her light, rolling a white die, and she needs to get at least 1 success. All right, and okay, she got it, although she could have turned it into 1 with that. So then she gets to reveal the... Oh, it was nothing. What the heck? Hold on. Okay. Oh, that's a unique one, which actually... Here, I'm not going to show you that. That's a little more complicated. There we go. Single blip. Okay, so we'll have that guy pop there. Y'all been waiting in the wings. Bleh. So I put him on a space adjacent. Hey, let's save these there. And we're in red, so he's got 5 defense I need to beat. Now, I think your adrenaline goes up when the action happens, and then you roll. I think it says that's first because it matters because she's going to get an extra black die. Let's just say that she's up to 5 adrenaline. So she's in up to 4 range. The 2 reds are going to talk about crit quadrants. So she's got 2 crit quadrants. Remember that for a second. And she's rolling a white, 2 reds, and a black. And devastating means each die she rolls that has a little crit quadrant, a little quarter circle symbol, she'll get to re-roll that die and get an extra result with it. Or no, sorry, not re-roll. Roll an additional die of that color. So I imagine this will be a bloodbath, but let's see. So she's getting... Sorry, I should have said. She's getting a free attack because she scouted successfully. You get to flip it over and do an attack as well. And, ooh, that looks like a pretty good roll. Now, she didn't get crit quadrants. So there's 1. You see that? With her devastating ability, she could roll an extra die if she had rolled one of those. But then additionally, if the total number of crit quadrants add up to 4. So here, this starts with 2. So then, like, if she had rolled that instead of that, and I don't know, that, then it would have been enough to, like, form a full circle, if you kind of think of it that way. And that would have gotten her a crit. But here she's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits. She needed, what was it? 5, if you remember. Now, she could spend stress to reroll. Hey, let's do it. Let's try to get some crit quadrants. Is there only 1 per die? Oh, there is. Okay, I thought there'd be more on the black and the red, so let's just reroll. I don't know. That's not it. Let's look. Okay, we didn't get any crit. Okay, so anyway, we wound the guy. In the case of most basic enemies, unlike bosses, they're just defeated. But you still have to resolve their response. Okay, so because I wounded him, I would place a fungal colony terrain tile on the guy's former space. And then if there are less than 2 automas or blips on the board, spawn 1 blip. So you can't just like wipe them out completely. But look, if I had gotten a crit, none of that bad stuff would have happened, and I would have gotten a free engram for more crafting potential. But hey, let's say that I just missed him. I don't know. And now it's his activation. What's he going to do? So we go left to right. He's targeting her, the closest spacer. So if more than 1 target is in zone 1, the fungi covering the automa puff up and then explode. So now, well, I don't know. No, zone 1, I think it's within 1. If target is adjacent, the robot lunges at you with its crude arm. Otherwise, the automa moves towards the closest spacer and tries to grab them, so moving up to 3. So let's say that he attacked. And she's not one of the ones with the extra armor plating. Oh, no, he got 4. So she would fake 4 damage, and she would also get insidious infection, and other stuff would go on with that. Yeah, so that's how combat would have been. And there's also opportunity attacks if you try to move away from an enemy while they're there. But, you know, I think that's enough. This was me experiencing one of these kind of more repeatable missions and showing it to you all. Let's get into my thoughts. And they are kind of mixed. I wanted to play this exact kind of thing because I feel like it seems like Into the Unknown put a ton of time into this kind of like narrative, lead you through the tutorial stuff, and maybe not as much into this aspect. And here's some things that I noticed, and I'm sure you noticed them in the play too. So when there aren't enemies out. And in both the tutorial mission that I didn't film and this one, you'll see that there are not enemies actually spawned. Like, it's not that hard to dodge these guys with how they currently work. When there aren't enemies out, a lot of your turns are just like moving, and recovering, because you can often pick up these things for free. Even if you don't, you can do a scavenge action. So it feels like a lot of, I guess I call it like kind of busy work. Like there's a lot going on with these cards, but they really wind up being like move 3 to 4 spaces or move 3 to 5 spaces and then do a basic thing. And sometimes the basic thing is just nothing if you're not ready to attack or scout or scavenge something. So there's a lot of sort of like null turns, for lack of a better term. Now, you didn't see much of a tense finish here, but I will say that the rules allow for like your nemesis to kind of show up and like chase you around if you take too long. And once there are enemies on the board, like my demo play when I was learning the game was way more exciting and we had to take more time. We didn't kind of have as much ability to fast track things. When we were being chased and like having to kind of run and gun and fight, it was great. So my question for Into the Unknown as they develop the game more, because clearly this is still a pretty early version, they don't have a lot of content here yet, is there a way to make things a little more tense earlier? Like one small suggestion, that's something that I would throw out. Right now, you can assign the noise dice however you want. So you saw I could like move people in ways that were technically closer to me, but like actually got them out of the way of other people. If you instead were like forced to use the noise die on the closest blip, and it had to like, I don't know how to make it so that you couldn't move it like in a way that was more advantageous, but like if it kind of moved more directly towards you instead of you just being able to pick like whatever blip you don't care about and move them. And there's really like mainly in the early rounds when you're using the white dice and they aren't moving as far and all of that. But yeah, I feel like right now the blips are supposed to be tense, but like not too tense in white, but I think right now like during the white rounds it's a little too easy. Now, in my demo play, I think I got to round 3 or 2, and it did get pretty tense because they were like directly tracking me down. People were spawning. Some of the events like made more people pop up. Like it was pretty desperate at times. But if we're mostly going to be playing these sort of go in and get resources kind of missions, and they can go like this, where it just kind of felt like not a lot happened. Now, I didn't take a lot of chances. I didn't pick up a lot of stuff that was on the map. I didn't go into like the nooks and crannies. I already knew this map because I had been in it before from the demo. But, you know, players are going to be in that situation in this game theoretically a lot anyway. You're going to be on maps you've already been on before as you backtrack to somewhere else. Although they did say they're going to have like fast travel. So I don't know if you're going to have to like grind through locations over and over again. But yeah, if a lot of the game is just moving and exploring, I don't see too much in the mechanics yet that make that exciting. Yes, the little narrative things are cool with this. Yes, it's interesting to find out what the terminals are doing. But like this action system, you know, it seems like it's trying to be kind of like Nemesis. But I don't know. I feel like Nemesis starts out with more unique cards, whereas here you're theoretically going to get into more unique cards as you level up your characters. But I don't know how that's going to work yet. So like it seems like a lot of rigmarole for not much to happen and for like no enemies to be around for a while. Now, I will say the boss fight was great. It definitely brought to mind the feeling of Aeon Trespass Odyssey, like building up big attacks, getting your adrenaline up was really cool. But without that kind of stuff and without constant enemy pressure, a lot of these tokens you're getting from the adrenaline don't matter. A ton of your items are focused on combat, and if you're not using them, then they just don't feel very exciting. So yeah, this is not supposed to be like damning feedback. I'm just saying that I hope Into the Unknown balances things so that like more enemies pop up earlier, but not in a horrific way. I feel like right now it goes from 0 to 60, and like the ending is going to be exciting sometimes, but sometimes, as you kind of saw here, not. And I wish it was more like, hey, a little bit of enemies and then nothing. And then, you know, like more of like an ebb and flow. So you can have times to fight and times to explore. And I don't know how they can like kind of speed this up so that the exploration is more interesting or the actions are more consistently usable. Because you saw, like, I don't need to reload if I'm not fighting. I don't need to scout if I'm not fighting. A scavenge I'll do, but I can often do it for free because of my tokens. So I'm just left with like rationalizing. I don't need to catch my breath because I don't need to take extra actions. So yeah, like things need to be tenser to make these actions make a difference, because otherwise you're just moving, and that's just moving. You know, like movement is fine, but it's not that interesting to like have different ways to move 2 or 3 or 4 spaces. As for the narrative, I have no idea yet. I have a lot of faith in them because the Aeon Trespass stuff and like story has been pretty awesome. But, you know, it's hard to tell how fulfilling these like little one-off little encounters will be. I will say that the overall story that came out in the tutorial was really cool. Like, I really liked it. There were some kind of chained together events, but kind of by necessity, this seems to be a bit more random and kind of just like things popping up. You don't know what you're going to get, which could be very exciting or could, again, feel random. So yeah, I'm not sure like how well the mystery is going to come together. I don't think they're sure either yet. I don't think they've like written that much of it, most likely. So yeah, it's a bit of an unknown, into the unknown, a bit of an unknown factor right now. Again, I have faith in the team because Aeon Trespass was so awesome, and what I got to play of Kingdoms Forlorn was so awesome. So it seems like they have a great handle on narrative. But man, I don't really know what it's going to end up looking like in the final product because this is just such an early little look at it. But yeah, I didn't find like these super fulfilling and interesting. Definitely not as interesting as the more scripted stuff of the tutorial. So it's still a big open question mark for me whether the like sort of roguelite exploration aspect of the game will be cool. Will the leveling up be cool? I definitely, the new items become way better. You saw that with, like this crazy alien rifle I got compared to like the little pistols I was starting with. The new suits giving you like new action cards. They didn't seem too exciting yet, but I'm sure they will be eventually, and having like more stuff you can equip. That all seems neat. I don't know how your characters will advance yet, but I assume they'll like also level up your action cards. And again, if these become more diverse, if like my scientist feels more like a scientist, I guess I did forget to use these powers the entire game, but I didn't need to because I didn't need the tokens because nothing was going on. So yeah, it again like just comes down to pressure. It's really hard for me to judge. The tutorial was more full of pressure. This play was not full of pressure at all. And who knows if I'm getting the rules right. This is still a very draft-like set of the rules. Maybe I missed some things that would have amped up things. There are difficulty modifiers in the game. But yeah, I mean, all I can say is this is what the game looks like for now. I'm not sure how exciting it's going to be in the end. I like this team. They've done good stuff in the past. I can't say if I'll like their future yet or not. So sorry to not be more helpful. You can look at the page and look at other videos and kind of judge for yourself. But at least as far as I can tell, what I just showed you, as opposed to videos you might watch of, again, the tutorial, more scripted stuff, is going to be what more of the game will look like. So decide if you think this looks exciting or not and figure it out. But yeah, thanks for watching, everybody, and a special thank you to our biggest Patreon supporters, J. William F., Steve Wren, Pedro Lucas, Nick Skeen, Miles, and Wayne Scott. We will see you at the next stop.